We also got to talk about the big news in the NFL today. Myles Garrett saying he wants to get traded away from the Cleveland Browns. And the big question for us as Giants fans is how does this affect the draft? Because there's definitely going to be draft implications whenever you lose your best player on your team. The statement today that got released by Myles Garrett via NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport said, as a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man I am today. While I'm loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete in the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It was always to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. And this is just after he said even a couple months ago, "Oh no, I'm not looking for a trade. We're not as far away as people think," and saying all these things. And I think he's just gotten fed up. So before anybody starts this, though, we are not saying the Browns and the Giants will make this trade. Myles Garrett is not coming. I'm just throwing that out there before anybody even says anything that ridiculous. We're not going to pay another $30 million to another edge rusher. But that being said, like I said, I think this move does have implications for the Giants because now you got to look at the Browns and go, what do they do at number 2 now? Because it's more up in the air than ever. Do they just go ahead and get Abdul from Penn State if he's available and try to replace Myles Garrett as best you can? And I said as best you can because obviously expecting Abdul to come in and be the next Myles Garrett is ridiculous.
That's got a lot.
It is. Or do they just go in full rebuild mode? And in that case, do they just go ahead and draft a quarterback saying, screw it, we need a quarterback. We're going to rebuild entirely. We lost our guy. Our big supposed franchise quarterback is done and burned. And now our top defender wants out. Full rebuild. It's possible. And if that's the case, guys, I've said forever, the Titans, I think, are going to go ahead and take Cam Ward. I still stand by that. I still think that's what's going to happen. And if that's the case, at least Shedeur Sanders, which sets up very interesting situations because of what's going on right now. Deion Sanders has said point blank that he has a list of teams he just wants his kid to go to. We've said in the show many times that I cannot believe that there's any chance the Cleveland Browns are not on the list. They got to be on the list. They have been the worst franchise basically since they've come back to Cleveland.
Yeah, sadly for them.
Yeah,
that's a Giants fan.
I mean, listen, we're not far behind the last couple of years. I'm not trying to talk as if we're at the hot ship here. That's what's going on. So you take their best player off their roster, that hurts even more. I can't imagine that. So then it goes, okay, does that kind of force them to go Abdul Carter? And maybe try to get a quarterback in the second round? Jackson Dart or something like that? Jalen Milroe? There's plenty of options for him at that point. I don't know. I just feel like this totally potentially has a chance to mess up our draft if they just throw their hands up in the air and say, what, screw it. Sanders or Ward, whoever's there, that's what we're taking. Or maybe they go in full rebuild and say, what, screw it, we're trading down. Raiders, you want Sanders? Here you go. Like I said, I really think this is a move that could have implications for the Browns. Now, the other side of that, what if the Browns have no intentions of trading him? What if he really doesn't even have intentions of being traded? And this is all a ploy to get a new contract?
Could be.
It's very possible. I mean, he's getting towards the end of his contract there. He's got 2 more years. None of it is guaranteed at this point. Not that, he's in any danger of being cut the next couple of years, but, he's got he's got 3 more. A third year's a void year. I take it back, but he's got, a reasonable cap number the next couple of years as well. On top of that, maybe they go ahead and do an extension, make him the most highly paid defensive end pass rusher in the entire NFL. Maybe that stops this whole thing. Because I'll tell you what, I said right now, and I'll say it again, because I've been saying this all along. If a player asks to be traded, doesn't mean they're being traded. It happens all the time. When all of a sudden they go, ooh, $30 million contract.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
And
like
a new car.
it's hard to really, it's really hard to turn that down. And if you look at the highest edge rusher right now, it's Nick Bosa, 5 years, 170,000. Sorry, that's not 170 million. Sorry,
That's what I said. It's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's a $34 million average value. If you right now through a 4-year, let's say 130, $140 million contract at Myles Garrett, you think he's not taking it?
Oh, most likely, 100%.
And don't get me wrong, like the Browns are in a great cap situation thanks to Deshaun Watson, but you can't lose the very best that you have. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. That's going to be interesting one to keep an eye on, though, because like I said, it really could have ramifications there for the Giants come draft day.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.